Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, I'm your hostess, and you can connect with me on Ravelry and Instagram, and my name there is Pearl of the Pacific. Welcome to episode 41. Today is Monday, September 22nd. And yeah, let's get started. So on the island, or below the conch shell, my show notes are a little off here. Below the conch shell, we have the September knit along going, and it's vacation themed. If you want to know more about that, you can look on the Ravelry threads, or you can watch the beginning of last week's podcast where I talk about it a lot more. I just don't want to spend a bunch of time saying stuff that I've already said. The October swap signups are open. It's my Podiversary swap, and it's going to be a skein of sock yarn from either your favorite local dyer, or if you don't have anyone near you, you can do your favorite indie dyer, and then a notion or a notions pouch that matches the yarn in some way, and then some little edible goodie. And those are the three things. And signups are open, as I said, on the Ravelry board. You can go there and it'll take you to quick little forms to fill out. And then I will be pairing people up, I guess, early next week and letting you know who your swap partner is. And then you can, find your yarn. Though you don't have to make anything, so hopefully this is not a highly involved swap. Unless you want to make, if you're a yarn dyer, you could dye your own yarn, or if you make stitch markers and you want to make them to match the yarn or whatever. Anyway, you don't have to. So that's it for that. Go sign up. There was one person who didn't include, I forgot to include a field for Ravelry name, and luckily most of the people who signed up had put in the thread, hey, I signed up, so I was able to match your name with your Ravelry name, but there was one person who didn't do that. And so if you signed up for the swap and didn't post in the thread below the sign up form, and just go say hello there so I know what your Ravelry name is so that I can send you your swap partner information. I have no way of contacting you other than your physical address, which snail mail takes a long time. So please go over and just say hello so I know who you are. I know your Ravelry name. I can pair you up. And there was someone else who put their email address instead of their mailing address. So if you could PM me your mailing address, like your snail mail address, that would be great. I do know your Ravelry name, so I can contact you if you don't see this in time. It's not a problem. Anyway, enough with that. On to some knitting. On the island, I still have my Gryffindor scarf. I'm not going to show that. I have my Tea Leaves cardigan, which I'm currently actually working on. It's in my lap here. And hold on, let me figure out what's going on. So here it is. Ta-da! So I'm working on sleeve number 1, but I finished the body. I did add some waist shaping, and I have the book Knit to Flatter by Amy Herzog, and there's a whole section about adding waist shaping or modifying waist shaping. So I read that, did some math, figured out where to do some increase and decreases. So because this pattern does not have any waist shaping. It has you like knit something and then increase a couple stitches and then just knit. And I was like, no, I need some waist shaping. So I did add some, and that's really the only major modification. I did add some short rows in the back so that the garter in the back is a little longer than the garter in the front. You can kind of see where I did the short rows right there. That's just because I like my cardigans longer in the back. That's just the way I am. I have a long torso, so I like that, when I sit down, they actually cover, everything to my pants. It's usually good. No one wants to see that. So that's coming along wonderfully. This is Sun Valley Fibers NCN worsted in Smoke Signals. It's this lovely gray, and oh my gosh, it's so squishy. I kind of want to sleep with it. It's so amazing, but I won't. But I'm on sleeve number 1, as you can see. Ta-da! I actually wore this. If you follow me on Instagram, you see I wore this at work last week in my office because it was really cold. And I just wore it with the things in it. And I hadn't finished the body, so the needles were just hanging down. And then there was a trail of yarn to my bag, which was on my desk. I didn't care. It was cold, so I wore it. And so that's coming along. The only time I'm alternating skeins is right before I change balls or change cakes. So I'm not fully alternating skeins, and I don't really see the difference. So, I mean, I don't notice a difference between skeins is what I'm saying. So that's that, and it is living in my little skein bag, the Anne's Treehouse, I think, or the Treehouse bag, and that is fitting quite wonderfully. The other thing, I forgot to update these show notes, or maybe I updated and didn't save it. I started Chloe from Spud and Chloe. I've had this book for a really long time, and I've always wanted to knit practically everything in it, especially Chloe and Spud, because I think they're adorable, and Chloe is kind of a mini-me. So I get to meet Susan B. Anderson in October, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to a workshop that she's giving at Vogue Knitting Live Chicago about knitting toys, and so I thought it'd be really fun if I knit something of hers to show her. So since this has been on my list, and I've had yarn for it for a long time, so I've started Chloe, and that's how much I have. It's just part of her body. I started it last night, and I was knitting along. I didn't have a tape measure, so I didn't know where to do the decreases. Plus, I didn't have the fiber fill with me, so I have to do that, but that's coming along. And this is out of Spud and Chloe. They're Spud and Chloe sweater, sorry. This is Toast. It's just a nice brown. This is another one of my favorite yarns. Oh my gosh, I love this yarn. So that's what Chloe's body is out of. Her dress is out of Splash, which is this gorgeous blue color. And her hair is out of Firecracker. And her shoes, I think. Yeah. So she is coming along nicely. I will probably work on her more tonight and finish up her body. I've kind of made a plan for like what I need to finish in order each day in order to get Chloe done, plus other things done for Vogue Knitting Live. So this is living in my other little skein in the big wool bag, the Stargazer's bag, which is another one of my favorites. And it fits the book, which is fantastic. So I've got all the yarn plus the book in here, and then needles and all that. So that's pretty fantastic. All right, the other thing is I guess that's not on the island. It's set sale, so we'll go to set sale. I've got one decent sized thing and one really little thing. So last week I talked about making a little ornaments on a garland to go behind me so that my background isn't as white and boring. So I made one, and it's a little heart. And I forget who it's by. Oh, you've decided to focus. Thank you, camera. This is Knit Picks palette in Serrano. It's leftovers from my Amy Pond mitts that I made a little while ago. And I think it's called like Little Puff Heart Garland. I forget. Anyway, I made a little heart. And then I did a little I-cord thing. My I-cord's super messy, but whatever. So that I can hang it on something. So I'll find like a ribbon or something to hang it on. And I've got some other plans for other little knitted things to go. This is not going to be all hearts, or it'll be a mismatch of things. And the other thing I finished was my Hermione's Everyday socks. Whoa! I just finished them. Like, we just ate dinner and watched an episode of Star Trek, and I bound off. after eating my delicious chili that my husband made. So they are done. They're nice and long and very stretchy, so I don't think we'll have problems with fit like I did last time. So they are nice and stretchy. So I've still got a million ends to weave in. Here's the other one. I had turned it inside out because I'd started weaving in the ends. This is the Luby U seasoning series in Gothic Sweetheart. And it's not meant to stripe, but it did, which is totally awesome. And I really like how it looks in this pattern, and it'll be great. So I've just got a bazillion ends to weave in, because the seasoning series comes with a main skein and then a coordinating skein, which you use for heels and toes and cuff or whatever. So of course then there's a million ends to weave in. Yeah. So plus this yarn has already been knit and then ripped out and then knit and then ripped out and then knit again. So there were some short parts that I was trying to use up, which means more ends, but whatever. It's mostly used up. I have that much left over of the pink and that much left over of the black, so. Well, plus these like teeny little balls of the pink, but whatever. Those will, I don't know what I'll do with those. Anyway, so that will be finished tonight, and then I will wash and block those and send them off to my friend who's been waiting for a very long time. Sorry. And that was in my homespun house, little horsey bag, which I love. It's very soft and cool, pretty. That's it for set sail. I know, not super exciting. I have a lot of things that are coming up. So on the horizon, I'm going to finish Chloe. I'm going to do Spud. I may do the little dragon that Susan B. Anderson has designed. That's been in my queue for a long time. I bought the pattern a while ago. Just haven't knit it. He's really cute though. I'm also taking a class by Franklin Habit on steeking, so I have some homework I have to do for that. I got the yarn all wound up and I just have to do it, so I'm getting a little impatient about doing that, but I just have to do it. And I think that's it. And then working on things for my garland. Oh, as I'm playing with this in my lap, I totally forgot to talk about this. This is a mallet for hand bells. You may or may not know what hand bells are. If you follow me on Instagram, I sometimes post pictures of hand bells. I am in a handbell choir, and these are one of the mallets that we use. And I'm on the teeny weeny bells up at the top, and so this is the mallet I'm supposed to use. And as you go farther down the scale and get bigger bells, the mallets are covered in yarn. So the next one down is covered, they're different colors, and they have, more and more yarn for, well, I'm assuming that the base is bigger for this part is bigger and then covered in yarn for the bigger bells. Anyway, the problem with this mallet is that it has a very different sound than the ones covered in yarn, obviously, because this is rubber against brass versus rubber covered in yarn against brass. So my handbell director was trying to, because the mallet just bigger than this one doesn't really work on our teeny weeny bells up at the top. And so we were trying to come up with a solution. I said, well, why don't I just knit a mallet cozy? Because the other ones are covered in yarn. Why don't I just cover this in yarn, basically, is what I was trying to say. She said, hey, that might not be a bad idea. You might be able to market that. So I brought the mallet home. She let me take the mallet home. And I'm going to design a mallet cozy for my handbell mallet. And someone was asking me, can you put initials in there for me? And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't see why not. So, hi, Pan. This is Pantalaimon. Hi, baby. Oh, did you see something? Are you going to stay or are you going to go? You can't go on the computer. I know. He's being very needy lately. So I'm going to design a mallet cozy or mallet cover for this mallet and then take it back to rehearsal and see how it works. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I kind of have some. I'll probably start with like the pinhole cast on the top, and then just increase around and then find out a way. The problem I'm having is how to cinch it on the bottom, because I can just weave the ends, or like you do at the top of a stuffed animal or something, you take a crochet hook and weave the end through all the loops and then just pull it. So I might do that for the prototype, to just like pull it and then tie it and glue it or something like that. So we'll see, but that's on my list of things to do. Well, hello, Pan. He's decided to park himself on my lap. Do you guys want to see him? He's really cute. Say hi, Pan. Anyway, so that's on the horizon of knitting adventures. I'm not trying to get the screen back up. Anyway. Nothing from the mainland. Let's see. Oh, someone asked on the board if I could talk about spinning. I'm not a spinner. I have no plans of really being a spinner. So what I know about spinning, I learned from other podcasts. So I suggest if you want to go learn about spinning, the Knit Girls talk a lot about spinning. Fibertown, Emily of Fibertown, talks a lot about spinning. And I've recently just gotten into Fiber Trek TV. They're I think a newer podcast, and she's from Maine. And she talks, her recent episode, she talks a lot about fleece and how she processes it, different kinds of fleece and things like that. So that's a good resource for talking about, what to do about. Are you leaving? Okay, bye. About fleece. But I know Emily of Fibertown and the Knit Girls talk about spinning a lot, as well as other podcasts. But I know the Knit Girls have answered a lot of questions, and so has Emily, about different kinds of spinning and wheels and spindles and all sorts of things. So I don't really feel like I'm qualified to answer any of that because I've never used any of it. I admire it from a distance. There's just too many things that I want to knit to really get into spinning. Maybe when I'm like 50 and retired, or 80 and retired at this rate. And I've knit a bazillion sweaters and scarves and hats and gloves and whatever. Maybe I'll take up some spinning, but not right now. The other thing that someone asked was if I could do a tutorial on how I wind my sock yarn. She had noticed, as I've explained before, that I wind it into 2 balls, but I don't cut them. And so she was wondering how I did that. And I will be happy to do a tutorial. I'm going to hope to film that either later tonight or tomorrow or something, and then tack it on to the end of this. Basically what I do is I wind it on I have a Swift and a ball winder, and I wind it like I normally would into 1 cake. And then I take the outside of the cake, because you can pull from the inside and the outside. I take the outside, put that end back on the winder, and I just hold the ball in my lap, and I wind from the other direction. Now, if you really want to get scientific about this, you can weigh the ball, the cake beforehand, and then, wind what kind of looks like half, and then weigh it again and see if that actually is half. I just kind of eyeball it. And so that's basically, so I wind it until it looks about half, and then take that cake off the ball winder and, do it around the swirly thing. If you have a ball winder, you know what I'm talking about. And then I have 2 cakes that are attached from the outside. So I can pull from the inside of the 2 cakes, basically, and they're attached on the outside. So it means that when I'm done with my socks, it means I don't have to weigh the cake, basically, to make sure it's exactly even and, before cutting it. And also it means at the end I have 1 long leftover rather than 2 balls of leftovers, which I enjoy, because then I feel like, if I'm doing another project with it, I don't have to, it gives me more options, I feel like, that way, to have 1 ball. And then I don't lose it, because if I have 2, tiny little balls, and they easily get separated. So I will do a tutorial on that, but I just kind of wanted to give the general explanation of how I do it. Someone else asked if they could see the birds, and I will gladly show the birds. We haven't ever really shown the birds. You can just hear them. There are two little parakeets. We have a yellow one and a white one, and their names are Hedwig and Hermione. You can probably guess which one's which if you're a Harry Potter fan. But I'll show them a little bit later. They're in the other room, so I have to actually like put the cat away and then get them out. So we'll do that in a bit. So I guess that's we're now into from my holiday. Talk about the birds. The other thing is I did my last bike training ride this weekend. I did 43 miles, just about 43 miles on my own, which I must say is kind of boring. But I did it, and it was great. I had it was a nice day. It was kind of humid, but it wasn't super hot, and it didn't rain on me, so I'm okay with that. It was threatening rain, especially near the end. I was like, oh God, just get home before the rain. But I just hopped on my bike from here and went north a really long way, and then turned around, basically, and came back down. And there's a nice bike path through one of the towns, and so I didn't have to deal with a lot of cars, so that was nice. But I think I'm ready for my half century next weekend in Michigan, so that'll be fun, and it'll be an adventure. But doing 43 miles without really stopping, I stopped for like 5 minutes to eat a snack and take a walk so that my butt didn't have to be on the bike, because it kind of gets sore after a while. But I feel like I'm really ready for my 50-miler, so I'm feeling good about it, and I'm really excited. So I've just got to, make sure the bike is, I've got a couple little things I've got to tweak and tighten and get ready for the trip, and should be good to go. Let's see what else. Oh, that was it. That was birds was the other thing from my holiday. So I guess that's it for this week. It was kind of short. Hopefully I'll be tacking on the tutorial and a little section with the birds. So if you don't want to stick around for those things, have a great week, and hopefully I will have more exciting things to show you next week. All right, bye. So these are the birdies. You want to say hi, guys? Are you excited to be on camera? Woo! This is your camera debut. What do you think? So this one's Hedwig, also known as White Birdie, and this one's Hermione, also known as Yellow Birdie. Yes. How's your tail doing? Yeah. So these are they're little parakeets, and yeah. I don't know what really else to say from them. They're pretty easy. They're kind of fun. Woo! I know. Is this exciting? Is this exciting? They don't come out of their cage very often because of the cat, but they're both girls. And oh, I was trying to show your backside because it's all pretty. So Hedwig's got some little blue feathers, and Hermione's got some little green feathers hiding under there. I know. I'm trying to show how pretty you are. Do you want to go on the same hand? Oh, no. Okay, you want to stay here? Well, hello. So these are the cute little feathered friends that you often hear in the background. Do you want to fly? They do have their wings so they can fly around. Do you want to fly? You can go. Don't bite me, silly. Where are you going to go? Do you want to sit on my shoulder? No. They're not really shoulder sitters, but here you go. Here's the birds. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to let them fly around a little bit, and then I hope you enjoyed that. You want to sit in my chair? No. They're not very well trained. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. You want to close up? There you go. What do you think? Hello. Ooh, there they go. Hello again, everyone. This is going to be my little tutorial on how I wind sock yarn. So I've got my Swift set up over here. I kind of show you it over here. It's from the Oregon Woodworkers, and it's their Mama Bear Swift. So it's not the huge one, it's the smaller one, and it's perfect for me. I can talk about that more another time. And I got the Royal Ball Winder over here, and I just got it set up. I'm just gonna wind away here. There we go. So I finished winding the cake and I pulled it off. And as you see, I've got the outside. You can kind of see where that comes from the outside. And then I've got the one that comes from the middle. So I leave this one intact and I put this end back on the ball winder, like so, and I wind from the outside of the ball. Now if you want to be really exact, you can weigh this. I'm not that exact because I figured if I get to, I never use up the full skein for my socks, so if they're not exactly accurate, it doesn't really matter. So I just wind from the outside of the ball. So I look at it beforehand, and I look at what it's about half, and so I kind of keep that in my mind while I'm winding. The nice thing is you can stop at any time without worrying about your Swift going around in a million directions. I can kind of move that out of the way. And kind of check. I mean, right now, obviously, there's a lot more not on the ball winder than there is on the ball winder, so keep going. Alright, so I've gotten to what I think is about the halfway point, and it's still connected here. And I just unwind this from the thing and do the same thing. I put my thumb under the end here to make sure it comes off with it, and that I don't lose that middle. So now I've got a center pull ball and another center pull ball, and they're attached on the outside. As you can notice, I wound a little more onto the ball winder than this one has, but whatever. And so I'm just going to wrap that around. And then I have two cakes attached in the middle with center pulls. And we'll put it over there you can kind of see. So you can see the two center pulls there, and that they're attached in the middle. And then at the end you end up with one thing of extra yarn versus two, and then you don't have to weigh it. It's just kind of a inexact science. So hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. Please comment on the Ravelry board, and I'd be happy to show more of things that I do. It's just something I came up with to solve a problem, and so I'm happy to share it. So thanks for watching. Bye.